Hello and welcome to our podcast. I'm Risa.
And I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. As a reminder, this podcast is rated T for teen for strong language and mature themes.
If you would like a show that about Nancy Drew, that is, that maybe keeps their language clean and sticks to the same topic the whole thing, and is okay to watch with your kids or your parents, then maybe you should go to her very own podcast, Unlocked.
Exactly, Unlocked. So what are we talking about today, sister?
Today, we're gonna jump on the phone and talk to our phone friends.
I was really hoping you were gonna say something like that. You were gonna say it like that. Love it.
I was hoping I'd thought about it a little more, but it just sort of... I was like, darn it, that's all I got.
It works. It works. So we're talking about phone friends. What is a phone friend? A phone friend is a character in a Nancy Drew game where you get to call them on the phone. It's in the name. I know, it's crazy. But yes, that's what a phone friend is. Phone friends can be great, and they can be really fucking annoying. And we're going to talk about...
Especially when they decide to start calling you every time you're about to go into a building or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paula.
So, first of all, we're going to start it off real good and talk about some of our favorite phone friends. So, nice favorite phone friends.
Favorite. Honestly, I think one of my absolute favorites is one I got to talk to this week. Eustacia and Andropov. Andropov, who they're all dead. They're dead. I love how I have to hold an imaginary cigarette when
it sounds like she has a cigarette in her hand.
Call him and tell him to get to work because he isn't dead.
I fucking love it.
I love her so much.
It's good. It's real good. We
only talked to her the once, but it's worth it.
Of recurring phone friends and everything, I would have to put out Prudence Rutherford as one of my faves.
Definitely.
She's definitely interesting and always fun to talk. No, mostly fun to talk to.
Mostly fun.
I just remembered that we talked to her in Phantom of Venice, and nothing in Phantom of Venice is fun. So,
I mean, we have some fun with her.
Do we?
I think so. I honestly don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
That's what I fucking thought.
Basically, my mind immediately goes to those stupid slides. So,
just think about Phantom of Venice, and suddenly there's Justin, Colin, showing you
because
slides.
His actual name's Justin.
Showing you slides. He's just taking you to the side. It's like, here. I know that there's probably an interesting storyline going on, but would you like to see my tesserae?
Fucking slides. No.
Oh gosh.
We're talking about phone friends. Phone friends. Right.
Instead of me just giving you an amazing idea for doing a little short, obviously taking that stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I could animate things because it would be fun.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Oh, but I do like having Deirdre as a phone friend in Deadly Device.
Yeah. They should do experiments on you if you've been knocked out so many times.
That's my favorite.
I told
him horrible things about you.
Yeah. Fucking love it.
Deirdre.
Just love it. And then my other favorite is Hotchkiss. We talked to her. Yeah, I mean, I guess she doesn't start out as a phone friend.
At a cheese factory.
Exactly. I thought that's so funny. No, not the cheese factory. Wickford Castle, I found you that, fucking priceless diary that helped you with your research. No? Don't remember?
I didn't even get a thank you in the book.
Nope. Maybe she does. Maybe she thanked Francine.
Right.
You don't know.
Oh, thank you, Francie.
Yeah, exactly. And then, obviously, we have our normal phone friends, like Ned, Bess, George, and the Hardys. But
Yes.
they're
Do love when you get to talk to the
oh yeah,
Hardys.
definitely. The Hardys are always fun, specifically like ones where we get to talk to them um and get more like a storyline going on their end.
Hmm.
Like um freaking what which one is it where they have the dog?
I was sitting here
That's
trying to
Deception
remember.
Island, isn't it? Yeah.
Is
Stranger on
it?
Deception Island when we can call them and then they're looking after basically Scooby Doo. Um or Marmaduke. They're looking after Marmaduke,
Yeah, that's
basically.
it.
Um so I like it when they give us storylines. Same with like Bess, George, and Ned. When we get storylines. When we don't have a storyline, they're just kind of we just don't call them. And that leads into our next little bit. So, how necessary are phone friends to the Nancy Drew game experience?
In some games, they're not necessary at all.
That's like sad but true. There are
They make
some
them
games where you
optional.
can literally just get by with never calling your phone friends. We've done a few of those recently. I know, honestly, for Legend of the Crystal Skull, other than just calling Bess to
To be
get
her.
to be her, I don't really think I called Ned like at all. I called him like maybe twice.
Right. I was just realizing that while I called them a few times, because I needed time to think basically, and so I let them talk. Um, I didn't really have to call them in um
Final scene, Castle
that
Malloy.
too. Haunting Castle Malloy.
Yeah.
Um,
No, you really don't have to call them. You have to call Alan, the
mhm.
the best man, but otherwise you don't have to call them. There's like a cute little C plot going on, but at the same time, it's not. It now it doesn't affect your investigation at all. In some of the games, that's true. It doesn't affect your investigation at all if you don't call them. Um,
Cough. Curse of Blackmore Manor.
yeah,
Cough.
Curse of Blackmore Manor, where you can literally just go the entire game without calling Hugh at all if you forget. Like you legit can
And
just not call Hugh.
you don't have to call the lady
Yeah.
who did the book.
Nope, because you never did.
I never called her.
Um, and you don't really have to call Linda's mom ever either. None of it is to. You don't need any of that to forward the plot. Then there are other games where you have to call people, otherwise you can't further the plot. Like in Shadow Ranch. That's the first one that
Hmm.
comes to my mind. Because we literally have to call them, we call Bess and George, and get them to research things for us. Even though we have the
Um,
internet, we have to do that. And the same with Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. We have to call them to get them to research things for us. I think
yeah.
that's an interesting way to have us contact them. Because
Mhm.
otherwise we might just not.
Or in Shadow at the Water's Edge.
Yeah.
You have to call Bess and George, and you have to call Savannah, and
Savannah's a
yeah,
good one. Oh,
yeah.
damn.
I love Savannah. Right? I was just thinking about that. I was like, oh,
Savannah's a great phone
and
friend.
Logan.
Poor Logan. But
How long do you think Logan lasted?
he lasted a couple months.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So what do you think is better? Needing to call your friends to further the story, needing to call people like in all of the ones we just mentioned, or having them be an optional side story that's fun to get the information, but you don't have to call them if you don't want to.
See, I don't know. I enjoy phone friends as sort of if nothing else, they're a nice expositional thing.
Yeah.
Um, and plus, they usually have really fun dialogue, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the earlier games, but
The earlier
Sorry.
games, the voices are just so weird. Like Bess and George are so weird in the beginning.
So weird. Playing the game this week, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Um,
With good old
but no,
Punchy
yeah.
LaRue. He was the
I was like,
original
I think I was like,
Bess.
it's Punchy
It's Punchy
LaRue.
LaRue.
Um, but yeah, so I enjoy them because I like them as a narrative device.
Yeah. I think um I feel like games where we don't have to call them are games where I end up speeding through it too quickly as well.
Hmm.
Pacing wise, I think needing to call people really helps
Yeah.
because there are some games where I'll just steamroller through because I don't have to call people. I don't have to. I can just go from one thing to the next. I know what I need to do, even if I haven't played the game a lot of times. Some of them you just can steamroller through.
Hmm.
It's just how it happens. So I feel like it helps the pacing a lot to need to go talk to people, need to call people, especially since it gives us more characters to interact with that they don't have to animate.
Right?
I'm fine with that. I want more characters because it just makes for a more interesting story. Um, Even if, I don't need to see them. Like Ghost of Thornton Hall, we talked to Addison. I mean, they could have
Yeah,
made her still around there, but it was completely fine.
they didn't even have to do like a character design for her. They just made her picture a kitten.
Yeah,
I
that's
was just
fine.
thinking about that. Sorry. I was just like, why did Nancy do that?
I don't know. Who cares?
Sorry.
But like they were able to include another character into it, just like Alan Payne in Haunting of Castle Malloy. We're
Hmm.
able to add more characters in without having to make the load heavier for the game itself.
Hmm.
Which I think is good. It helps make the game feel more fleshed out. Because games where you can only call like one person the entire time are also kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like if you can just call Ned, it's like I don't know, it's boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. I mean, that's like in Sea of Darkness when I was playing it. I was like, I can only call Ned, and then Ned
It,
doesn't pick up for most of the game. I'm like, this is boring. I don't like
yeah.
this. I mean, sure, I could call Alex, but that's not really the same.
No.
It was just like, and that meant that I never really thought about calling him either, is the worst part. And that makes it even worse, that whole storyline, even worse, where it's like, well, he's not answering, so I'm just going to forget him and just keep solving my mystery, which is what upset him in the first place. So, your own fault, buddy.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think we're saying that we think it's a good thing to have them in there. So, we
Hmm.
would like them to try to at least include the phone friends, make them necessary to call. I feel like they've been left at the wayside since we got our little hint things in our task list. I think it's the big.
Hmm. Yeah, because
Um,
originally they were meant to give you
yeah,
either cryptic or, straightforward
yeah.
uh, hints.
So the fact that we no longer have that need for them, we've just stopped needing to call them as much, and I think it's a little sad. So what's like a good balance between relying too heavily upon calling people, like in Haunted Carousel, where every single time you go into a building, someone calls you. You need to call Tink 5 million times. You have to
Right.
call so many people to get information. You have to call parole officer. You have to call just everyone in that game. Between
Yeah.
that and final scene where not even final scene, Haunted
Curse,
Carousel. I mean, Curse of Blackmore Manor. Jesus Christ.
Haunted Carousel is both.
Curse of Blackmore Manor, where you don't even have to call the husband of the
Yeah.
woman who's sick.
Going crazy.
Sick. Yeah. So,
Um,
what's the balance?
I think the balance is Ghost of Thornton Hall. That has Ghost of Thornton Hall and Shadow at the Water's Edge are good because You don't have to call them too much. Nobody's really calling you. Um, it's a nice, even balance between actions and discussions.
Yeah.
So you're doing things, but you're also calling people and talking to them, getting information, you know? It's
Yeah.
nice.
I think that what also is a big thing about that, though, the ones you said, they're we're specifically having to call these people because it's part of our investigation. So that's a huge part of it. That if you're going to make a phone friend, you have to call them, make it part of the investigation. Because on the other end of it, you have Sea of Darkness, where you have to call Ned for weird character stuff. And in Captive Curse,
Hmm.
you have to call Ned and Frank as well, but it has nothing to do with the like it's a nice plot. I enjoy that B plot. I think it's cute.
Hmm.
However, it's nothing to do with the actual story at hand. So it's fun, but I don't want you to keep having them call me for something that's like directly impeding what I'm trying to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if I'm specifically going somewhere to try and find something, I don't want you calling me and getting me like completely off track. Like fucking Paula. So like I think that's the huge like balance issue, you know,
Yeah.
of needing to find good reasons to call them. That also doesn't feel like complete busy work because, you
Hmm.
know, Secret of Shadow Ranch, we call them, I mean, they're stuck at an airport, Bess and George, stuck at an airport wanting something to do. God, they're stuck at three different airports for 3 days. Those poor girls.
God.
So we give them things to do to go research things. We also just literally have the internet on our phone though, so it feels
Hmm.
redundant, honestly.
A little bit.
But it's still fun. It's nice. But I think it's just it means a lot more when it's something more like, hey, can I give this thing to you so you can have someone translate it for me, or you know, can I get you to go
Yeah.
talk to the guy who invented this thing to give me the keywords? I mean, sure, I'll do his crazy fucking Sudoku, but I mean, are you
Everything
telling
wrote
me that
beautiful.
are you telling me that George couldn't do that on her own? Are you really telling me George couldn't do the Sudoku? Because I think she probably could have, and
I
she
think she
was
could have done it, but I think she was just like, I'm in the middle of a convention. Screw this.
Nancy. This is your shit. I'm not doing this.
But yeah.
What about my other thing? Recurring phone friends. How many times is too many? So we have had some phone friends that we see quite a bit, and we go through the same bit every time with them. So Hotchkiss. Every time. Every single time we talk to her, she forgets who the fuck we are. She doesn't know who we are the entire time we're talking to her. Sure. It happens, you know?
Senility's funny.
And then, like, Prudence Rutherford, we talked to her several times, and she's the same, character every time. So it's kind of nice having someone that we can go back to. And,
Mhm.
you know, it's fun and familiar. But when does it start feeling like they're overdoing the joke?
Probably Hotchkiss. Um,
Yeah.
just her general. She's been her phone friend, what, 2 times?
Yeah, I think only two
Yeah,
times.
I think we're good. I think we're good with that.
I think honestly two is a good number. Maybe three for some characters, but anything past that is just it gets old. I feel like we're at that stage with Prudence Rutherford. We can talk to her in a lot of games.
Hmm.
At least three that I can think of. So, Scarlet Hand,
Hmm.
Danger by Design, and Phantom of Venice.
Yes.
Am I missing any?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
And it's just,
We read about her a lot.
we do. She does all sorts of stuff. But it just starts getting a little old.
Hmm.
And I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. That's
She's
why
the lady that I'd like to avoid.
yeah. I just feel like it's nice when they shake it up and they give us someone like Deirdre. Like in Deadly
Yes.
Device, we're able to get this fresh look at it. Because even talking to George and Bess every game gets kind of boring.
Hmm.
Which is why there are some games where we can't talk to them, and I'm like, oh, that's
Right.
phew.
All right.
You know, it just, okay, happens. Um, but yeah, I think sometimes you just need to let a character go. But don't like kill them. Like don't kill
No,
Hotchkiss,
let's
but
not do that.
let's just let her go. I feel like the
Jesus,
same
wouldn't that
thing.
be awful? We go to call them the characters. I'm sorry, they've passed away. What?
I feel like overdoing jokes, overdoing callbacks is a thing that her interactive is really
They're starting to do a lot more because they're
prone
doing
to.
more of the yeah.
Because it's like the later games, specifically, like, you know, Krolmeister, haha, Coco Kringle, haha, Sunny June, and then Sunny June, and then Sunny June, and then Sunny June, and then Sunny June. So it's just one of those things. Thankfully, we can't talk to him as a phone friend.
Yeah, that's good.
That would
I
be.
liked getting to talk to Jamila
I loved getting
after
to talk to Jamila.
yeah,
She
that's
should just
great.
always be a phone friend. We should just be friends with her now. In my opinion, we should just
Yes.
call her up. But then again, she's in like England, so we can't just call her up all the time. But anytime we're in Europe, you know, be like, hey,
Yeah.
how's it going? Big J.
Big J.
I don't know. It's been a long day. Okay, so our, you know, how we've come across this, we think phone friends are good. We want to have to call them, but we want to have to call them for story progression reasons. So,
Not just to have a voice actor being used.
yeah, I don't need to fight with my boyfriend again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
Keep the domestic disputes to a minimum. Thank you.
please, I do not play Nancy Drew to have relationship trouble. If I wanted to do that, I'd start throwing tantrums or something for the drama of it all. Like,
Great. Good, thank you.
so those are our thoughts on that. End bit. What is your theory on why Nancy never has any contacts in her phone?
I mean, is it a burner every time? I mean, she doesn't ever have the same phone.
It's true.
Although I don't know how she got that picture of Dave after that long.
Yeah, that's my other weird thing. She has all these pictures of people in past cases and stuff on her phone, but she doesn't have anyone's contacts? Does she
I
just
just like looking at
constantly-
him.
This is my girlfriend Yumi. Do I know her
Right.
number? No. Do I ever talk to her anymore? No. But
She's
every
a
time I open my
Japan.
phone, every time I open my phone, she's there.
There she is.
I
Beautiful
think,
pink self.
I think she just has to constantly like upgrade her phone because she
Mhm.
ruins it so much.
Yeah, that was my other theory.
Like, you know, it gets you drive into a ditch and it gets ruined. You
You know,
all sorts of fun things. Can you imagine
lose
Bess
it in a
and
trash
Ned?
compactor.
Can you imagine Bess and Ned's cell phone bills from Haunting of Castle Malloy? Just take a moment to think of
Jeez.
that we're just calling them from a payphone in. You can actually call cell phones from payphones. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, when I tried to call you guys, that time that I landed in England and my phone had died, so I tried to call
Hmm.
from a payphone, and even though I had like pounds and stuff, it would not let me call a cell phone. I had to try to call Grandma's landline because it's the
Huh.
only landline number I know. So,
She's the only person I know who still has a landline.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So that's our thoughts. Those are our thoughts on phone friends. If you guys disagree with us, you just want to, I don't know, tell us your opinions, even if you don't disagree. I mean, we'd love to hear from you. You can contact us
Yeah.
on our Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, or on our Twitch if you want to come into one of our streams and yell at us. You know,
Yeah.
it's it's fun. We approve of it. Um, so just do that. And as a reminder, you can now subscribe to our Twitch so you can get a cute little wine glass emote. For when we're streaming, you can tell us when to drink. Um, and you can also cheer us with bits, which is throwing change at us and make it rain. Yeah, so that's it, right? That's all the things.
That's it.
Awesome. So just as a reminder, I'm Marisa,
I'm Ariana.
and we're the Krolmeister sisters, and we're asking you guys to stay sleuthy.